Do you know that some of the most dangerous people in your life might not look dangerous at all? They smile, they charm, and they blend in so well that by the time you realize their true nature, it's already too late. Evil doesn't always show up with a warning sign. It hides in manipulation, deceit, and subtle mind games. That's why recognizing the red flags early is crucial. If you've ever felt uneasy around someone but couldn't explain why, your instincts might be trying to warn you. In this video, we'll uncover 7 chilling red flags that reveal if someone in your life is truly evil. Pay close attention because some of these signs are shockingly easy to miss. Stay till the very end because the last red flag is the one most people ignore until it's too late. Let's dive in and expose the truth. Number 1, they enjoy others' misery. When you're around someone who seems to get a kick out of other people's suffering, that's a huge red flag. The way they react when others hit a rough patch can tell you everything you need to know about their character, or lack thereof. It's one thing to feel empathy when someone's going through a tough time, but it's entirely different when a person seems to relish in someone else's pain. That's not just a sign of immaturity, it's a sign of something much darker. First, let's talk about why someone might get enjoyment from others' misery. For some, it's about control. When they see others struggling, they feel a twisted sense of power, as if they're somehow superior because they aren't in the same boat. For others, it could stem from their own insecurities. If they're constantly battling with their own demons, seeing someone else suffer can make them feel less alone in their pain. It's almost as if they feel, well, at least I'm not the only one who's messed up. And then there are those who simply lack the ability to empathize. These people have no real emotional connection with others and are indifferent to what others go through. What's truly chilling about people like this is how they often disguise their delight in others' misery. They might appear calm, even sympathetic, but their eyes tell a different story. There's a subtle smirk when someone else stumbles, or a quiet satisfaction when things don't go right for someone else. And it's not just about big moments of failure either. Sometimes, it's the small, everyday struggles that fuel their need for validation. Did someone mess up at work? Did someone experience an awkward situation? To them, it's an opportunity to feel just a bit better about themselves. You might even notice that when someone goes through something difficult, this person is too interested. They might ask probing questions, digging into the details of what went wrong, almost as if they're savoring the moment. You'll find that they're not looking to offer support. Instead, they want to watch the situation unfold, like someone watching a car crash unfold slowly. It's discomforting, to say the least. The real kicker? These people don't always show their true nature right away. They can be incredibly charming and friendly when you first meet them. They'll do what they can to win your trust and make you feel comfortable around them. But as soon as you show vulnerability, they can turn on you. They'll keep their distance when things are going well, but as soon as the tide turns, they're right there, waiting to see how much more you can take. The worst part is they may even pretend to help, feigning concern, when in reality, they're just watching you flounder. It's like they're feeding off the drama, like a spectator at a show where someone else is the star of the tragedy. What makes people who thrive on others' misery even more dangerous is that their enjoyment is often subtle enough that you second-guess yourself. Am I overreacting? Maybe they didn't mean it that way. But it's not about isolated incidents, it's the pattern. The way they consistently find amusement in others' downfalls. It might not be loud or in your face, but it's always there, just beneath the surface. In the end, being around someone who enjoys others' pain is toxic. It's not just uncomfortable, it's emotionally draining. No matter how much they pretend to care or how charming they seem at first, deep down, they're just waiting for a moment to use someone's hardship as a means to feel better about themselves. And while it might take a while to spot, once you do, it becomes clearer than ever, these people aren't the kind of company you want to keep. Number 2, constant lying. When someone constantly lies to you, It's not just a small quirk or something you can brush off. It's a massive red flag that's easy to overlook but incredibly important to spot. The thing with liars is that they weave a web of deception so effortlessly, it can sometimes feel like they believe their own stories. And that's the danger. When they blur the line between truth and lies so much, they can convince not only you but even themselves that what they're saying is real. It starts small. Maybe they tell a tiny fib here or there, thinking it won't hurt anyone. "I was stuck in traffic," or "I didn't get your message," seems harmless enough, right? But the problem is, these little lies build up over time. They're like bricks in a foundation that eventually holds up a wall so high, you can't see the other side anymore. The thing is, it's rarely just a single lie. It's a pattern. And these patterns, they don't go away on their own. At first, you might dismiss it. "Oh, they're just trying to make things sound better," or maybe they just forgot. But as it happens more frequently, you start noticing inconsistencies. They tell one story one day, and the next, it's a completely different version. They might even contradict themselves in the same conversation. And here's where it gets tricky. Their lies don't even seem like mistakes. They seem deliberate, crafted to hide the truth or manipulate the situation to their advantage. Here's what makes constant lying so dangerous: it erodes trust. Trust is the bedrock of any relationship, whether it's with a friend, partner, or colleague. Once that trust is shattered, it's tough to rebuild. Lying isn't just about what's being said, it's about what's not being said. Every lie creates a gap in the connection, a distance between you and the person. You can no longer rely on them, and every conversation becomes a game of trying to figure out what's true and what's fabricated. But it's not just the lies themselves that are toxic, it's the effect they have on you. Over time, you start questioning your own reality. Did that really happen? Am I imagining things? Their constant shifting of facts leaves you second-guessing your perception of events, and that's a powerful form of manipulation. The more you question yourself, the easier it becomes for them to control the narrative. Suddenly, you're not sure if you're the one who's wrong or if they're the ones playing games. That confusion? It's a tool they use. Lying becomes a tool of control. They'll lie to shift blame, deflect responsibility, or make themselves appear more favorable. They might even tell stories to pit you against others or to manipulate your emotions. The whole point is to keep you off balance and unsure of what's really going on. It's not about the truth, it's about winning. And they'll do whatever it takes to keep that illusion of control intact. And here's the kicker: when you call them out, they don't get embarrassed. They don't apologize and admit the truth. Instead, they'll double down, get defensive, or twist the situation to make you seem like the problem. It's a psychological game, and you're not supposed to win. That's how you know they're not just telling a harmless lie here or there, they've crossed a line into manipulation. Now, think about how this impacts you emotionally. If you're constantly dealing with lies, you start to feel disconnected. It can make you feel frustrated, hurt, and sometimes even confused about your own feelings. You'll find yourself becoming more cautious, second-guessing everything they say. That sense of unease? It's the warning bell that your gut is telling you something's off. You might even start distancing yourself without even realizing it, just to protect yourself from the chaos they've introduced into your life. So, when someone's lying all the time, it's not just a bad habit. It's a behavior that's rooted in manipulation, control, and deception. And when that's a constant presence, it becomes impossible to trust them, let alone build a healthy relationship. You're left wondering what's real and who they truly are. And in the end, that's one of the most toxic things someone can do, make you question your own reality. That's a game you don't want to play. Number 3, lack of empathy. lack of empathy is one of those traits that can quietly slip through the cracks, but can be one of the most telling signs that someone next to you might not be as well-intentioned as you think. It's not always something loud and obvious, but it's a sneaky, quiet absence. It's that feeling you get when someone's response to someone else's suffering is cold, indifferent, or downright dismissive. It's the kind of behavior that gives you a gut feeling that something's off, like when someone's smiling at your pain or brushing off your emotions as if they don't matter at all. Let's break this down a bit. Empathy isn't just about feeling sorry for someone when they're going through a hard time. It's the ability to tune into someone else's emotional frequency, to step into their shoes and feel with them, even if just for a moment. Now, imagine being around someone who can't or refuses to do that. They might not even try to understand your situation. Instead, they might ignore your pain, respond in a way that feels like they couldn't care less, or worse, make it about them. They might completely bypass your emotions, like there's some sort of inconvenience, and leave you feeling like you're the one in the wrong for even expecting some kind of emotional recognition. But why is this so unsettling? When someone lacks empathy, it's not just that they're being rude or cold. It goes deeper. It's like they're emotionally unavailable, and in that unavailability, they don't just fail to support, they might actively hurt you, whether they realize it or not. That inability to connect with another person's feelings can create a serious emotional gap. It's like trying to build a relationship with someone who's standing on the other side of an emotional wall. And this wall? It's built of indifference and maybe even cruelty, whether intentional or not. They won't bat an eye if you're struggling, and they certainly won't lift a finger to help you, because in their eyes, your experience, your emotions, none of it matters. Here's the tricky part: people who lack empathy can sometimes disguise it. They can fake it well enough to blend into social settings, at least on the surface. They know the words to say, the actions to perform, but when you look closer, it doesn't add up. Their actions don't match the words. They might say they care but won't show it when it counts. It's like they're acting in a play, trying to convince you they understand, but the moment they step off stage, their true feelings, or lack thereof, become crystal clear. The danger with someone who lacks empathy is that it becomes incredibly hard to trust them. Empathy is the foundation of all good relationships, whether personal or professional. Without it, people are driven by their own interests, their own goals, without regard for the impact they have on others. Imagine being around someone who could easily disregard your pain and make decisions that benefit them, even if it means hurting you. It's not about maliciousness, necessarily, it's just about them not seeing you. You're not a person in their eyes, you're a tool, a means to an end. They can't understand the depth of your experience because they're too wrapped up in their own world to care about yours. What makes this even harder to spot is that a lack of empathy isn't always about cruelty, it's about absence. It's an emotional void, a lack of emotional depth. It's not necessarily that they are out to harm you, but that they simply can't recognize your humanity in the same way. And that, my friend, can be far more dangerous. Because when someone is incapable of feeling for others, there's nothing stopping them from acting in their own self-interest at any cost. It's a chilling thought. The good news? People who are empathic tend to gravitate toward each other. So, if you find yourself constantly feeling disconnected, hurt, or unimportant around someone, it might be time to take a step back and assess their role in your life. Because without empathy, that relationship is built on shaky ground, and eventually, that foundation is bound to crumble. Number 4, gaslighting and manipulation. Gaslighting and manipulation are two of the sneakiest tools someone can use to make you question your own reality. If you've ever felt like you're going crazy, or that nothing you say ever seems to be taken seriously, there's a good chance you've come across someone who's using these tactics on you. Gaslighting is all about making you doubt your own perception of things. You'll be in a conversation, feeling like you're on solid ground, and then suddenly, the other person flips the script. Maybe they deny things they've said or done, even when you know you're not imagining it. Over time, they chip away at your confidence, leaving you second-guessing yourself. Did I say that? Did that really happen? You start to wonder. You feel like you're stuck in a maze of your own thoughts, but you can't find the exit. It's subtle at first. The manipulator might make small, offhand comments that make you question your memory. Maybe you recall a situation one way, and they'll respond with something like, "You're overreacting," or "That's not how it happened at all." It's not a full-on attack. No, they don't come at you with shouting or rage. It's more like a slow drip, a tiny seed planted in your mind, making you unsure of your own reality. But the more it happens, the deeper the doubt grows. Before you know it, you've lost track of where you stand. And let's not forget about manipulation. While gaslighting is about twisting your perception, manipulation is about control. The manipulator wants you to believe that you need them, that without them, you'd be lost. They use your vulnerabilities against you, carefully pushing you in directions that serve their own agenda. You may notice they have a way of turning things around to make you feel guilty, responsible, or like you owe them something. It's like they're puppeteers, pulling strings behind the scenes and making you dance to their tune. It could be something as simple as pushing your buttons when you're already stressed. They know exactly how to make you feel bad about yourself, how to shift your mood just enough to make you feel like you're the problem. You'll walk away from conversations feeling emotionally drained, confused, and unsure about what just happened. They know how to twist your words and actions so that they're always the victim, and you're always the one at fault. It's exhausting, and it can wear you down over time. The real danger of gaslighting and manipulation is how insidious it is. At first, you may not even realize it's happening. Maybe you think you're just being too sensitive or that the person has your best interests at heart. After all, they might throw in some compliments or kind gestures to keep you off balance. But underneath, there's always that underlying current of control, as if they're trying to keep you on a leash without you even realizing it. Eventually, it's hard to tell where you end and they begin. They've infiltrated your thoughts, your actions, and your decisions. You start to feel like you're living in a fog, unsure of who you really are anymore. And that's the goal, to create enough confusion that you rely on them for clarity. They make sure to leave just enough doubt in your mind that you feel like they're the only one who understands you, the only one who can help you. At this point, if you try to stand up for yourself or call out their behavior, they might act hurt, like you've betrayed them. "I thought we were on the same side," they might say, or "I'm just trying to help you." It's all part of the game. They know that by making you feel guilty or ashamed for speaking up, they'll regain the upper hand. The longer you stay in a relationship like this, the harder it becomes to break free. But recognizing the signs early can help you protect yourself from being drawn into this web of manipulation. Trust your gut, because it's telling you something isn't right. Don't let someone twist your reality or make you feel like you're the one who's lost. Your thoughts and feelings matter. And if someone is trying to mess with them, it's a sure sign they're not someone you want in your life. Number 5. Extreme jealousy and envy. Jealousy and envy might seem like feelings we all experience now and then, but when it turns extreme, it's a whole different ballgame. When the person next to you harbors deep, overwhelming jealousy, it's like walking around with a storm cloud over your head, and no matter how much you try to push it away, it follows you. And the scariest part? You might not even see it coming at first. It starts out subtle. Maybe they throw a comment or two when something good happens to you, something that should make you feel proud and happy. "Oh, lucky you," or "must be nice." But don't let those little phrases fool you. Behind them is a darkness you can't quite put your finger on, a kind of bitter resentment simmering just below the surface. The thing with extreme jealousy is it doesn't stop at a few offhand remarks. It can get obsessive. They're not just envious of your success or happiness, they want it for themselves. They start watching you like a hawk, not in admiration, but with the kind of scrutiny that makes you feel like you're being judged, measured, and maybe even found lacking. You could land a big deal, earn a promotion, or even get a compliment from someone, and instead of celebrating your win, they'll either belittle it or act like it's not a big deal. But make no mistake, inside, they're seething. And they're not seething because you don't deserve it. They're seething because they feel like you're taking something they believe should be theirs. It's not just about keeping up with you either. When someone's deeply jealous, they won't just try to outdo you, they'll actively try to tear you down. They'll undermine your achievements, belittle your strengths, or create doubts about your capabilities. It's like they don't just want what you have, they want to make sure you know that you don't deserve it. It's all about control. In their twisted mind, if they can make you question your own worth, it somehow levels the playing field. They need to knock you off your pedestal, even if that pedestal is just a small step above where they're standing. It's not just about material things or status either. Extreme jealousy can creep into every aspect of life, from your friendships to your relationships to your personal growth. If you're thriving in one area, expect them to find a way to make you feel like you shouldn't be. They might even try to pit you against others. If you've got a close friend who seems to get along well with you, they could start making subtle digs, trying to plant seeds of doubt about your bond with them. If you're in a relationship, they could start turning everything you do into a comparison game, constantly measuring you against some unattainable standard that no one could live up to. And don't be fooled by their sympathy or fake kindness. They might try to hide their jealousy behind the mask of a supportive friend, pretending to be happy for you when something great happens. But the truth is in the small things, the way their eyes linger just a little too long when you're talking about your successes, the way they dismiss your accomplishments, or the way their mood shifts when you're on a roll. Beneath it all, there's a simmering envy they can't hide for long. This kind of behavior isn't just draining, it's toxic. Jealousy is like a slow poison that seeps into your relationships. The more you experience it, the more you start questioning your own worth and your place in the world. And that's exactly what they want, for you to feel like you're always on shaky ground, always second-guessing yourself. But here's the kicker, the more you start to thrive, the more they're likely to lash out. It's like a pressure cooker that gets more intense the more you achieve. They can't stand the thought of someone else being happy or successful without feeling like they're being left behind. The truth is, extreme jealousy isn't just about wanting what someone else has. It's about resentment. It's about feeling like the world owes them what you have, and if they can't get it, they'll do whatever they can to destroy your joy. It's corrosive. It doesn't just affect them, it affects everyone around them. If they're constantly dragging you down with their jealousy, it doesn't take long for that negativity to affect your confidence, your mood, and even your decisions. It's a spiral, and the only way out is to recognize the signs early and set boundaries before it pulls you under. So, next time you notice that dark cloud hanging over someone's attitude when you succeed, don't ignore it. Extreme jealousy and envy are red flags, and they're not something you can fix or soothe with kindness. In the end, the only thing that'll help you is recognizing that their storm isn't yours to weather. Number 6, fake charm and deception. Fake charm. It's one of those things that, at first, might seem harmless or even flattering. But if you take a second look, you'll realize it's more like a carefully crafted mask, a mask that hides something far darker. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who lights up a room with their energy, their smile, their way with words, only to later realize that something about them just doesn't sit right? They know exactly how to win you over, how to make you feel seen, important, even special. And yet, as you start to peel back the layers, you notice a pattern. The charm is just too perfect, too calculated, too smooth. And that's when the alarm bells start ringing. It's fake charm, designed to deceive. Here's the thing, true charm comes from a genuine place. It's a natural warmth, a connection that feels real. But when it's fake, it feels hollow. It's like a performance, one that the person is playing for an audience, but not because they genuinely care. It's all about getting something from you. They've learned how to make you feel valued because that's how they get what they want. It's manipulation dressed up as friendliness, kindness, or even love. It's the kind of charm that doesn't really make you feel good deep down. It just leaves you a little confused, like you're being pulled in different directions without fully understanding why. Now, let's dive deeper into the why behind fake charm. The person using it might not even know they're doing it, or they might be fully aware of the mask they're putting on. Either way, it's about control. Charm is a tool, a means to an end. And that end? It's usually about gaining your trust, your loyalty, or your resources. They know that if they can get you to like them, to feel at ease around them, you'll be more likely to give them what they want. But once they have it, the charm fades, and the mask slips off, revealing something much less pleasant. What's tricky is that people who use fake charm often do it in a way that's hard to pin down. At first, they seem like the life of the party, the friend you always want to have around, the colleague you can't help but admire. They know how to tell the right jokes, make you laugh at just the right moment, or nod thoughtfully when you talk about something important to you. They're smooth, like butter on toast. But the moment the charm starts to feel like a performance, or the moment they expect something from you in return for their supposed kindness, that's when you need to pay attention. The deception here is what makes fake charm particularly dangerous. The person may not be intentionally malicious, at least not all the time, but the fact that they are willing to put on an act, just to get something from you, shows a lack of authenticity and a disregard for your true well-being. The deeper danger lies in how they use your emotions and trust as tools for their own benefit. They'll make you believe that they care, that they're in it for the long haul, when in reality, they're just playing a part to extract what they need. One of the most unsettling parts of fake charm is that it often works. It's hard not to be drawn in when someone makes you feel good about yourself, when they give you attention, or when they seem to understand you better than anyone else. But here's the catch, it's not about you. It's about them. It's about what they can get from you, whether that's your time, your resources, your trust, or even your emotional energy. And once they have what they want, the charm becomes a distant memory, replaced by coldness or indifference. Suddenly, you realize you've been duped. The charm was never really about you in the first place. And here's the kicker, they're probably not just using fake charm on you, they're using it on everyone. It's their go-to move, their weapon of choice. It's not something they reserve for special people. No, it's all part of their playbook. They use it to make connections, to climb the social ladder, to manipulate situations to their advantage. And if you don't see through it, you're just another step in their game. The most terrifying thing is that you might not realize this until it's too late, until you've already given them what they wanted and are left feeling drained, confused, or even betrayed. So, how can you spot this fake charm in action? Trust your gut. Pay attention to how the person makes you feel in the long run. Do you feel genuinely supported, or do you feel like you're being played? Fake charm often leaves you with a sense of emptiness, like something's missing even though everything seems perfect. When the act is up, you'll feel the difference. It'll be like the air just went out of the room, leaving you with the uncomfortable realization that you've been taken in by a well-executed performance. And by then, it's harder to walk away without feeling like you've already given away too much. In the end, people who rely on fake charm don't want to be with you, they want something from you. That's the deception, and it's what makes them so dangerous. Number 7, no remorse or accountability. One of the most glaring red flags that someone might not just be difficult but actually evil is the total absence of remorse or accountability. This isn't just a person who occasionally messes up and apologizes later, it's someone who never takes responsibility for their actions, no matter how much damage they cause. It's as if they've been gifted an immunity card from basic human decency, and they're not afraid to use it. The thing about people with no remorse is that they don't even see what they've done wrong. They can hurt others, betray trust, or break promises without flinching. In fact, they might even justify their behavior, twisting it in such a way that they come out looking like the victim. They've convinced themselves, or maybe they're just so far gone, that what they've done doesn't even deserve an apology. Why? Because, in their mind, they're always right. If something went wrong, it's always someone else's fault. Never theirs. You'll notice how they shift the blame the moment things go south. It's always someone else's mistake. "Oh, that wasn't my problem," they might say, or "if only you had done this differently, we wouldn't be in this situation." There's no sense of reflection or growth. They never stop to think, "How did I contribute to this?" or "Is there something I could have done better?" For them, life is just a series of convenient excuses, a game of pointing fingers at anyone but themselves. Now, let's talk about the lack of remorse. When someone does something wrong, and everyone does, it's normal to feel regret, guilt, or at least some desire to make things right. But not for these people. They don't feel the weight of their actions. It's almost like they're walking around with a shield of indifference. They don't care if they hurt you, betrayed you, or let you down. It's not that they can't feel remorse, it's that they choose not to. To them, the idea of feeling guilty is foreign, unnecessary. Why would they need to apologize when, in their eyes, they've done nothing wrong? If you're upset, it's your problem, not theirs. What makes this even more dangerous is how this lack of accountability can snowball over time. At first, you might think it's just a one-off, a mistake, something they'll learn from. But when it becomes a pattern, when you see that nothing ever changes, it starts to feel like you're dealing with someone who doesn't just have an issue with responsibility, they're actively avoiding it. It's a toxic, draining cycle where you're constantly left trying to pick up the pieces while they just keep walking away unscathed. They might throw in a half-hearted sorry from time to time, but don't be fooled, it's not because they genuinely regret their actions. It's just to keep you quiet, to get back to their own agenda. These apologies are empty, like a checkmark they need to tick off to maintain their facade. It's the same as if they said nothing at all, because if they truly felt sorry, there would be change. But there's never any change. They'll apologize today, and tomorrow, it'll be the same story all over again. What's even more unsettling is when you try to confront them about their behavior. The lack of accountability shows itself in full force when they're cornered. They might deny everything, throw in some sarcastic remarks, or make you feel like you're the one who's overreacting. They might even try to make you feel guilty for bringing up the issue in the first place. It's like they've turned the whole situation into a twisted game where the rules are designed to protect them at all costs. And you're left wondering if you're the one in the wrong for wanting them to own up to their mistakes. The real danger here is how it chips away at your sense of self-worth. Over time, if you're constantly dealing with someone who refuses to take responsibility, you start to feel like you're the problem. Like you're crazy for expecting basic decency and accountability. This is exactly what they want. They thrive in environments where they can escape scrutiny and avoid responsibility, leaving everyone else around them to clean up the mess. So, what do you do when you spot this red flag? First, recognize it for what it is. No one is perfect, but if someone consistently refuses to acknowledge their faults, makes excuses, and never learns from their mistakes, it's time to step back. You deserve to be around people who own up to their actions, who feel genuine remorse when they mess up, and who make an effort to do better. People who don't, well, they're not just a little flawed, they're dangerous in a way that can take a real toll on your mental and emotional well-being. Well, that wraps up today's video on the 7 red flags that reveal the person next to you might be evil. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And remember, surrounding yourself with positive, genuine people is key to your growth. If you've experienced any of these red flags in your own life, drop a comment below and share your story. Let's talk about it. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay true to yourself, and keep striving for the best version of you.